Good evening, Lake Orion. Hope you're enjoying your week, your night, your year. It's winding down. Anyways, I'm Ian Witherspoon. I'm your host, and I am Between Taorminas. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast this evening. We have a delightful show for you. A lot to talk to, a lot to get to, so let's get to it. Here are the boys. Happy to see this man's healthy and alive and doing well.
Almost there.
How do you feel?
Just a little sore.
A little sore? You're getting there though, right?
Hanging in there.
Positive attitude, you know. Sometimes you need to, tweak a few things, get the motor running a little better.
Yeah.
So should be fine.
Yeah.
You doing all right? You holding up?
Doing all right. Just obviously going through in the week. So.
Well,
we'll talk about their subject.
Sure. I hear you want to get to sports though, Sam.
Yeah.
And I hear you want to talk about the BCS.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's favorite topic in America, right?
Yeah.
What? It's a great system we have here.
No, it's not.
No, it's not a great system at all.
What do you mean? What's wrong with it?
Well, let's look at it here that Louisiana Tech and a Middle Tennessee State both get left out of a bowl game when Louisiana Tech finished the year at 9-3 and Middle Tennessee State was 8-4. I mean, why would you do that to them, when there are other teams that in there that don't deserve to be in there, like a Georgia Tech who finished the year at 6-7, had to get a
record.
Had to get a claimer by the NCAA.
That's so wrong. If you look at, it's kind of the injustice of the mid-majors. Again, the NCAA has a history of screwing around with mid-majors, and those two mid-major teams Sammy made mention about, they should have been in bowl games. They should have been playing in it, not teams that the sad thing about the NCAA, it's all about money, and that's it's a shame that we have to talk about this subject again, because I remember we talked about this in episodes 1 and 2. We talked about the BCS the way it was, and that it's just a shaming. It's just alarming.
Every year you can point out a grief. What the BCS gets wrong, right? Every year. So that begs the question: next year there's a playoff.
2 years.
Well,
2014.
Okay. Right.
Yep.
So the next time we
I don't understand how Northern Illinois gets into a bowl game. You know what I mean? To a BCS Bowl. They're in the Orange Bowl against Florida State.
Right, and they're going to get steamrolled.
Right.
I mean, if I know the BCS cares about ratings at times, and we talked about with them picking Michigan to go to a BCS Bowl or Michigan State, a grave injustice, I might add. But you look at how
last year.
Last year. Okay. Yes. And you look at how that plays out. The BCS. I feel like the BCS is all about politics, greed, money, and it's just a shame. It's a shame that college sports has gone like this, not just in college football, but college basketball as well.
Sure.
It's just a clear-cut shame.
So does that mean, since it is about money and politics, does that mean that next year when people have been clamoring for a playoff and we finally get it, are they going to get it right?
Well, we don't know if they're going to get it right because
what are you foreseeing? Because I'm kind of seeing this pattern of they don't get anything right. Why would they get They didn't even get the amount of teams right. 4 teams.
Well, because if you look at yourself here, if you're the 5th place team, you're going to lose everything out because you won't get a chance to go in the playoffs. You got the Big 10, you got the Big 12, SEC, and the ACC are guaranteed. You know what I mean? But. You got to have your Big East. You got to have Notre Dame. You got to have Pac-12.
What about those mid-major schools? What about those mid-major schools?
And the mid-majors are being all left out.
They're being left out because of the stupid policy that they have to have the Power 6 conferences all in those BCS bowl bids, and this shit's a shame.
Do you think a mid-major could be a top 4 team in the country, though?
We saw that. Didn't we see with TCU?
We saw it with TCU. We saw it with Boise State.
All right.
We saw, there's been a couple years ago we had Miami of Ohio be one of them. We had Hawaii, you know what I mean, was one of them. I
And
mean, like
I
they can compete with them.
I guess the problem with these smaller schools is like Northern Illinois, right? They're giving away all their tickets because they wouldn't be able to sell them. You know what I mean? And so I guess why would the bowl committee select this team that can't even fill their seats to go to the bowl? You know what I mean? Like in Northern
I don't
Illinois.
understand how Northern Illinois gets into a bowl, BCS Bowl, over a team like Texas A&M,
Georgia.
Oklahoma, Georgia. You know, I mean, like, 'cause in my opinion, I would have loved to seen Texas A&M go to a bowl game.
Right.
I think if you look at
Or
the
BCS
best
Bowl.
BCS, I think if you look at, in my opinion, the best game out of the whole bowl season, it's not the national championship game. I think it's the Cotton Bowl between Oklahoma and Texas A&M because I would love to see Johnny Manziel play against Boomer Sooners defense. You know,
How do you guys feel if you're Oregon, okay, where you're 11-1, and you know automatically you don't have a shot to play in the national championship game because for some reason the winner of the SEC championship game is automatically going on
I'd
to
be
play
mad
Notre
if
Dame.
I'm Oregon.
Wouldn't you though? You're
I would be
11-1.
very
You
upset.
post huge numbers. You play an exciting game.
your loss was against Stanford, who's also in the BCS in the Rose Bowl.
Right.
I
So-
would feel very mad if I'm Donald Duck.
Right. So what's the fix there? You know, why is it the SEC is automatically
Welcome
the-
to politics, my friend.
Well, because a lot of people look at Mike Sylvie, who's the commissioner of the SEC, you know, has a lot of like brain trust. You know, a lot of people look at Alabama. They look at also, you know, I mean, like that they're the team in the championship game. I mean, like, but I would love to see Alabama play Oregon. I would think Oregon would give Alabama a lot of problems, you know, but I just thought Georgia had a chance to knock them off, you know.
Well, they sure did. They don't know how to manage the clock.
I don't know
well,
how to
apparently.
manage the clock well.
All right. Well, I guess one more thing we get to here while we got a little time is college football related, and that is a former Wisconsin coach is now a Razorback.
Brett
Thoughts on
Bielema.
that? Yes.
Sad for the Big Ten. Sad for the Big Ten, you know, but I'm very happy for Auburn that they brought back their old offensive coordinator who won them their BCS title in 2010.
Does it kind of bug you that maybe now it looks like the Big Ten is a stepping stone for the SEC? You know, you coach and you do well in the Big Ten, but then, hey, now I'm going to split because the SEC is calling?
Tells you how much power the SEC has in college football.
Okay. Thoughts on that? Saddened? Disappointed?
I'm just happy Kentucky's not in the top 25 in college basketball.
Well, okay, on a different college note. Sure. Well, they'll be back. They'll be back.
Yeah, they won't make that. They won't. They're going to struggle.
No, they'll be fine. They're Kentucky. Anything else to add here on the BCS college landscape before we take a break?
Nope.
No?
Well, I think if you look at it here, Big Ten's got 7 teams in a bowl game. Bowl games, you know.
Sure. They're going to get all trucked.
No, they will not get out trucked.
They're trucked.
Nope.
We'll see. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. We're gonna do a shot or something or two to liven up the audience here, and we'll be back. Stay tuned.
Please remember that CFL bulbs, you know, those curly, energy-efficient light bulbs everybody is using to save electricity, shouldn't be thrown away in your trash. Neither should batteries or home medical sharps. You can check with your local community to see where they can be recycled. Some retailers will allow you to bring them in for recycling. You can also order simple kits online that allow you to collect your recyclables and simply mail them away to be properly recycled. This green tip was brought to you by your friends at Waste Management.
3 students were in the hospital this past weekend.
2 honor roll students were hospitalized last night.
5 local students lost their college scholarships last night.
Another local high school student has passed away.
Another 3 dead.
Claimed the life of another local teenager.
The cause?
Alcohol.
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 Welcome back to Between Taorminas. Talked a little BCS. Now it's time to talk about something equally as depressing, and that is the Detroit Lions. Forward down the field
to a team that is rendering you And then see the Lions get routed. Rah, rah, rah.
They didn't get routed, though. They lost in the last second.
Oh, Lions! Rawr.
Great game they played, huh?
Yeah, that was a great game.
Except for the last 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, they're up by 12.
Great game.
Wow. To all
They're
those
up
people that left Ford Field.
They're up by
I don't
12.
blame you.
They're up by 12.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I
What
thought.
do you think about that?
They're up by 12.
They were up by 12 with 3 minutes to go in the game. Andrew Luck ends up being Andrew Luck, and he ends up
And the Lions defense ended up being the Lions defense.
Yeah, especially the secondary.
And the Lions offense ended up not being able to get a first down. What else is new?
Nope.
Running that 5-yard pitch.
The Lions had everything
third
right
and 5.
in the game. The Lions had everything. They were dominating the Colts.
They were dominating. They got a lot of turnovers, 3 picks. They did well offensively, except
Calvin Johnson had a
Calvin had the
great
bulk
game.
of the offense, right? So, I mean, that kind of was disturbing because aside from the Joik Bell 60-something yard run, that running game was not there. So why they would run on 3rd and 5 when they needed to seal the game, I can understand that if you get it, you run the clock, yada, yada, yada. But you run a pitch
Why would you not go for a slant pass? I mean,
to Calvin, who's got 20 balls in the game.
You know, why won't you go for a slant pass? I think this is all on Jim Schwartz because
Schwartz or Linehan?
or Scott on Linehan because
Why is he on Schwartz?
why would you go for a pitch play on 3rd and 5 when I'm not sold on Mikel LaShore's running ability or Joyce Bell's running ability? You know, for that matter, you're known as a passing team.
Right.
You know,
Do you
use
guys think
your
Titus
receiver.
Young, the issue with Titus Young is a distraction?
Yes.
I think everything that has happened in the offseason has become an distraction. LaShure has problems with the law, Fairley, Sue, Alfonso Smith, who's no longer here,
Titus Young.
Titus Young, obviously. A lot of trouble, you know what I mean? And what'd they do in the draft?
They knew.
What did they
do much.
What'd they do in the draft?
Nothing.
They drafted first pick is a guy that doesn't play every down
No.
on offense. Why?
I
Lions
think
felt they could win with this lineup that they had.
Then they went with a guy who blew out his ACL like 5 months prior to being picked in the 2nd round.
yeah, Ryan Broy. Well, he did give the Lions a chance to be
Until he
got hurt with his ACL again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's his other one this time around.
Javed Best did not come back. You know what I mean, guys? This I thought maybe there was a chance something special could have happened with the Lions, but the writing was on the wall in
Same
July.
old Lions.
Writing was on the wall in July.
Do you
know?
blame Jim Schwartz or do you blame? Who
Yes.
do you blame for this?
I blame Mayhew more than
You blame
anybody
Mayhew?
because he put together the team. Schwartz can only work with what he's given. That being said, has he done a great job? No, not a great job. You know, he's kind of fired from the hip a little bit. You know, done things emotionally that he should have not done, throwing the red flag against Houston. You know, he gets pumped up. You know, today he took a cheap shot at Titus Young, who's not with the team anymore. It's just, you know, I don't know. They're cursed.
They blame the Madden curse. What about Mark Madden?
Hey,
Well, I would blame Mayhew too because he was the one that was responsible for drafting his team. He was responsible for making, you know, like he brought in Titus Young. He brought in.
But they're not going to blame Mayhew. They're going to ultimately fire Schwartz.
Well, yeah, he's going to be the scapegoat out of
the
this.
scapegoat.
But if you look at who put the whole team together, it was Martin
Sure.
Mayhew. You know what I mean? If you look at, you know, it's going to be completely be on his head because of what this team was, you know. And are you sure that they're going to get rid of Titus Young? It won't be that easy to get rid of Titus Young.
You know, he's on IR now.
He's on IR, yes. IR.
Should they get rid of him? They should have.
should.
Yes.
Should
they
have already
have,
done
yes.
so. Are they trying to trade him for like a 7th round pick? I don't. What are they
know.
trying to? I don't get what they're doing.
Do you think? Well, look who the Lions play this week. Packers
Packers?
on Sunday Night Football. Are we going to look at another embarrassment?
And is it at home?
It's at Lambeau.
No, it's at Lambeau. How well do the Lions play at Lambeau?
Awful.
Thank you.
But hey, what if we see the unthinkable?
Charles
Lions
Woods is
going
coming
Green
back to this game.
What about Clay Matthews?
I've been hearing rumors he might.
Greg Jennings will be back
Jennings
again.
is back.
Think he's
Yes.
back.
His feet on. Guys, it doesn't look good. All right, so
No, sounds
scrap
grim.
this year. 2012, throw it in the trash. It's gone.
Which
Actually,
is-
it's a piece of paper. I recycled it. I'm doing
We're
my
waiting
part.
for the Tigers. You
Listen
know what
now,
I mean?
not necessarily. Okay, I got to ask you guys some critical questions. Okay, Lions next year. Let's start with the draft. Are we going to hear best player available, or are they finally going to draft for need?
They need to draft for need.
Obviously. What are your thoughts, though?
Secondary, safety, anywhere in the secondary is very athletic.
What about a linebacker?
Yeah, I think Manti Te'o fits that bill.
Yeah, well,
Manti
he
Te'o.
fits also the top 3 pick. So, okay, next question here now. We're running a little low on receivers. Are the Lions going to draft another receiver?
Johnson.
No.
I mean, in the
Outside
first 3
Calvin
rounds,
Johnson.
if they draft a receiver in the first 3 rounds, I'm going to chew up and eat that camera over there. Spit it out. Okay? A lot of players on defense that's already depleted are not coming back next year. You know, Cliff Averill won't be back. Probably Van Bosch won't be back. Some of these
Really,
million
that
guys I've
defense
never heard
has been
of.
about Fairley and Sue.
Yeah. So,
That's it.
guys, they got a lot of needs to address. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on free agency? Anything a little early? Get your
It's
bids
still
in
a
now.
little
Still too early.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Any thoughts?
Football's much harder to address than baseball, though. You know what I mean?
Sure. Salary cap. And
Especially salary cap, and then you got
trades are a little
trades are
less
a little bit
unlikely.
less, unlikely. I think baseball's more structured than football.
Okay. Lions win on Sunday.
No.
Are you happy or are you mad? Are you mad?
I'm mad because you look at the winnable games the Lions have had. I mean, they should have beat the Packers at Ford Field. They should have beat Houston at Ford Field.
Sure.
They should have beat Indianapolis. You look at all those games that they've played, they should have won those games.
Right.
There weren't many games they got massacred.
What about if they win, they end a terrible streak? Does that do anything for you?
No.
Or is it worthless because they'll be 5-8?
It's worthless because
worthless.
they're 5-8.
Okay.
Still
Okay.
worse. Lions are one of the worst teams in the NFC. It's the truth.
They're a good 3-quarter team. They're darn good.
Not the forward
Not
quarter.
the fourth
No,
quarter.
they're terrible. Which is weird because last year they were
Really good fourth quarter team.
right. All right. So anything else you want to add about the Lions? Anything
They're
at
done.
all? They're done?
Yep.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
You're
they are.
calling it now at 4-8?
Yeah, 4-8, they're done. I like playoffs, they're done.
Sam, I'm just giving you a hard time. You called they were done back in May before these
You were
draft even
right on
happened.
the money.
For once, thank God you weren't on the money about the Tigers. All right. When we come back, we're going to hear a story of survival here on Between Taorminas. Yes, well, welcome back to Between Taorminas here on Orion Neighborhood Television. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to pull away from the sports here for a second and get to Samuel. Salvatore, as you like to be called. Now, you had a bit of an episode here, and it took place on Saturday. So take us through your Saturday.
Well, rough. I mean, I had emergency appendix surgery.
And how were you, what triggered this? Was there a lot of pain going on?
Yeah, there was a lot of pain going on,
So you went to the hospital and they said, we got to take this thing out, or what?
Well, I had to go to the clinic first. They wouldn't take me in. So then I went to Beaumont, went to the emergency room, part of their staff, and then they said that I had to go to the hospital. So I ended up going on ambulance.
Oh, wow.
And so they took me to Troy Beaumont on ambulance. They did a good job with me. You know, they took me to a room.
Took care of you?
They had to get a lot of IVs done. Had to drink a couple weird stuff.
Sure.
And then I had to get a CAT scan. You know, ended up having to and they found out that I had to get my appendix taken out. You know, I had an appectomy.
Appendectomy?
Appendectomy, and then
Something like sure.
They said my appendix was on the verge of blowing up.
Wow.
And then I had to get surgery at 10 o'clock, and then at night, and it just took me about an hour and a half just to get the surgery done, and then me just going back in the hospital room, just getting some sleep, and then got up at 4 in the morning. To go to the restroom, you know, I'm still struggling to walk, standing up.
A little sore, huh?
I'm very sore.
Well, they caught it before it became a serious thing. You know, you got it taken care of. That's good news.
Just send my shout-outs to Troy Beaumont for taking good care of me Saturday and Sunday.
So you won't be calling them out today?
No.
Okay,
the support that Sammy got during the whole thing was unbelievable. I mean, I was texting people. I kept people updated on Facebook.
Yep.
And the support that Sammy has got was tremendous from the entire Lake Orion community, from her friends, you know, you, Pat. I mean,
good. You know?
And it was tough. And I mean, seeing him the way that like this.
Sure, it can always be tough, but you got to be happy now because everything's taken care of.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to make full recovery. Be out there rolling around.
The reason why I'm in the sunglasses, people, of course, is because of my eyes.
Well, that's fine.
Bloodshot.
I'm in sunglasses. He was in sunglasses earlier. They're hip, man. They're cool. All right. Well, that's good. Everything's great. You got enough energy to call somebody out?
All right. I'm out first.
Oh, Antonio.
I need the sunglasses for this one.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. My first call out this week involves, you know, I heard people were watching the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden they see
boring.
Yes, I agree with Sammy. And all of a sudden they see this little clumsy boy comes on the show.
Frankie Muniz?
No.
No.
A thing named Justin. Why?
This guy? Oh, not this guy.
Yep.
All right. All right, take it to him, man.
Look, man, you are hated by so many boys, it's ridiculous.
Guy needs to meet New Jack.
And you got this cult following of girls that just love your every move. I see Twitter okay, get well soon, Justin, or oh my God. My God. How sickening can you get? How sickening!
That thing is sick.
It's pukable.
It's putrid.
Putrid.
At the same time, why do people support him? He claims to call himself a bad boy.
He ain't a bad boy. Meet New Jack. He's a real bad boy.
Meet Nugent.
Hey, New Jack.
All right. Anyways,
Who's
Justin Bieber, you claim to be real, you claim to be honest, you're a joke. You pretend that you're honest with yourself? Ha, yeah, right. You're probably the fakest of them all. You have no respect for yourself nor your ability. You want to talk about crediting all the haters for your success? Listen, man, I'm just telling it as it is. Bottom line is, you're a joke, you're a disgrace, you're singing. I want to throw up over it. Justin Bieber, you should be ashamed of yourself. And as Sammy said, you're a disgrace.
Guy is a disgrace.
My second call out involves Twitter community. Kids have gotten why? Simple. Kids have gotten so powerful these days using social media. It's not like the days when we had it.
AIM. Well, that was.
But I mean, you know, kids are blocking you. Kids are just, listen. Just be honest with people. There's no reason for you to block people. I mean, there's some legit reasons there. I can get that. I understand that. But at the same time, don't do stupid things such as blocking somebody over a disagreement over a stupid movie. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, Twitter, you need to get rid of the blocking system of people. Thank you.
Interesting.
Okay, let's see if I have this now.
You got it.
Well, the first thing I'm going to call out really is a thing of hypocritical procedures. When I look at this company and the things that they do, that they changed in so little time, wanted to make me just puke. I'm going to call out the WWE Universe. WWE Universe, why? Let's look at it here. Ever since 2008, 2009, when you got rid of the Attitude Era, you started to become more of a kid-friendly show. Are you kidding me? I've been a fan since 1996 to see what? Puke? Fake? Frauds? What are you?
You okay?
You got it. You got it.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know, I don't want to see a military crybaby wannabe named John Cena say, quote, "You can't see me," or making him look like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin. Those two were good men, were good people that day. I miss the good old Attitude days when you could send people through chairs, tables, heck, even through stages of all people.
Ladders.
Everything, you know.
Barbed wire.
And now you have a blood policy now. You know, why I've never seen somebody use a blood policy like that. That is a disgrace. It is. Get your facts straight. Get rid of the PG era. And I see little kids just being so happy. You know what?
Screw kids.
Screw them.
Oh.
Get back.
Again.
Get back. Get back to the original Ellen Attitude days. I'm begging you. Okay? This is not a kid show. WWE wrestling is supposed to be for middle adults. Excuse my language. I apologize to the kids.
That's all right. We got time for one more?
And then my last call out, of course, NCAA guy name is Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk Herbstreit, why? Let's look at it here with what you said. I didn't understand why you said Northern Illinois would be in a bowl game. You know,
BCS bowl game.
In a BCS bowl game. Okay, yeah, you're right. They don't deserve to be in one. But you don't have to be an idiot about it. You don't have to be an idiot. I think you're an idiot. You're a disgrace, Kirk Herbstreit. You're the worst announcer in sports.
Ooh.
You know, I don't understand your analysis at times. I'm sorry, Kirk Herbstreit. Really sorry.
All right. Well, good call-outs. Way to muster through it. I think we're out of time right now, so thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.